Hey, Happy Crabbears here, and we're into the Day 3 matches. Let's get right into it. Again, we're going to face against Luffy Bonnie, see how this team goes. Change up the teams a little bit than what you probably saw yesterday, so kind of have a little bit more of an optimized team for the Navy team there, and we've kind of made some swaps in terms of what teams we're using. We had the Boa team out there yesterday with Boa and Luffy and Quick S-Snake, so we kind of changed that out now for kind of the OP shooter team, just to give us a little bit more chances to beat a lot of these different leaders that are out there. So first fight here should be pretty straightforward, just facing your kind of your standard strength team. Obviously Pig gives a lot of defense, Uda can give a lot of CT reduction, Luffy can just hit like a tank, so really the goal here is really just get our guys to be able to go before they can go. I do have my Usopp and Lilith Rainbow keyed, so Rumble keyed, so they should be able to get off their stuff pretty quickly. But you can see like the cooldown of S-Snake is just so ridiculous that she actually got her special off before they were able to get pause. And then I have my level 150 Luffy and Lucci there, just absolutely destroying everything that's there. So combine that with the special that we have there, and we're just in absolutely fantastic shape for getting through this first fight. Nothing to really worry about. Once Mars goes, you should pretty much wipe out everyone else here. Of course, the Stumpd unit there has the HP cut. If it's within the first, I think it's 30 seconds. Otherwise, it goes to a fixed damage attack, which is just really great for building up that gauge for Kizaru. So, works out really well. As I said, we're just kind of waiting for Mars to really go and do just an absolutely huge hit, kind of what you just saw there. Didn't really manage to knock out many people, unfortunately. That just kind of is what it is. And the real attack of the team really comes from the Luffy and the Lucci. Of course, Kuma on the backbench can do a ton of damage, but he's in the backbench, so he's really not doing much there. So we know there's no chance of them beating us here, so we're just going to skip. So one, we don't waste time, and two, we can keep our burst gauge for fight number 2. So again, the kind of the game plan here is to try to bait out at least 2 bursts on fight number 2 once you win that first fight. That way you can go into the final match with just the pure advantage there. So we're fighting the pretty OP INT team here. Now, they don't have all the OP INT units. They don't have the Sabo and Koala, but they do have the INT Sabo that you have to worry about. They do have the Boa sisters, or sorry, the Boa waifu with Nami, and those guys you have to worry about. And Smoker can do just a bunch of really annoying CT bind on you, and he has a pretty low cooldown as well. So it's not a gimme fight by any means, but if I use one of my specials, I could pretty easily, block them from really going. So I strategically did this right after Kuma went, so that way I kind of blocked the special of the Luffy and the Bonnie from going, pretty much making it useless for them. Now, the only downside to this team is they are pretty tanky. Like you can see, I just did a pretty nasty shot, and they just shrugged it off like it was Tuesday. So knowing that this team was really, being used to bait out the burst, I'm not anticipating winning this battle. Of course, we could technically use a burst, I guess, if we really wanted to, but really there's not really any major point on doing that. So we're just going to do a little bit more damage. You can see we're able to get a good chunk of damage. So I decided, you know what, I'm going all out for this battle, which probably in hindsight probably wasn't the best way to do it. If this was the last day, I definitely would have sacrificed the second battle just to make sure I went into the third battle with my best team there. And I would have had 3 Kizaru gauges ready to go, right? So, again, second to last day could afford to be a little bit more crazy in my choices of how I battle this, and decided that was kind of how we were going to go. So also we want this fight to kind of go on and give them a chance to charge their burst gauge, that way they can get rid of both of their charges anyway. So obviously, unless we're in a situation where we feel like we are going to win, we really wouldn't use that last burst. But as you see, like right now, we're doing pretty decent. They're still holding on there, and I, at this point, was thinking, like, are we gonna like time out this fight with how long this fight is taking? But luckily, I think we're gonna be able to pull off the win pretty easily here. We get the Kizaru special. At this point, it was a bit of a gamble because now we have nothing left going into that final battle if this doesn't work. But their backbench really isn't scary, so I knew if I could get rid of that front bench, then it was GG from that point on. So the Luffy Bonnie's barely hanging on, the waifu are barely hanging on, and they have special bind. Obviously, S-Hawk is definitely something to worry about here. His damage to defense is pretty nasty, and you can see I took just a nasty shot here. I did lose Nusjuro before really getting him to do anything, so that was kind of unfortunate, but I knew that if I could get my Garp and Kobe to go, he should be able to wipe out pretty much most people there with his super special and being level 150 there. So that was kind of what I was aiming for, and I was like, uh-oh, the waifu had their special there. Now, luckily for me, they didn't actually hit the Garp and Kobe, otherwise that would have been really bad. So at this point, I'm like, all right, let's do some Galaxy Impact here, see what you can do. And they still tanked that. Like, this team was just insane with how tanky they actually were when fighting them. But again, I knew that, you know, I have Kizaru's Death Hit who's ready to go. With the Hibari and some of the other units there, I keep doing some special rewind and gimmicks there, so that's of course always helpful. So I didn't feel too worried. And again, if we happen to lose this battle, we could still have that final battle with the OP INT team to really get us through. With both of those units being Kuma and Luffy Bonnie keyed on my side, so I was like, okay, like I don't have any worry at all about losing this battle if we have to. But the fact that Kizaru's going to go now, he's going to do a bunch of fixed damage, and then if he dies, he can do more fixed damage, meant that there was no chance for them. So at this point, it's GG's for them. This fight took so long that I was like, oh, are we really going through this fight? Why is this fight taking 10 years? That was a lot just to get the second win there. Probably, in hindsight, should have skipped it just from the third match. Could have get this whole first fight over in probably 2 minutes, but hey, sometimes you stretch it out just to see how it goes. So there we go. We're able to take out the Luffy Bonnie leader there and get into the second fight of the day. So for the second fight of the day, let's go ahead and take on... Kaido would probably be my choice here if I wasn't just in a very long match. I just want to get a fight over with quickly just because that first match took forever with that second team that I was fighting there. So you know what? Just gonna kind of switch it up. Go against the Pell captain who doesn't have a burst. Don't have to really worry about taking any damage there. And can get through it really quickly and kind of get through in 2 fights really fast. So this is the quick. Well, sorry, it's not really a quick team. It has a lot of quick units, but it's really kind of driven focus there with the front and back bench. They do get some buffs for this season, so of course that's something you always have to watch out for. But the fact that we have Kuma who can just do so much, you know, we have Caesar who can do the debuffing of the CT speed, and once Luffy and Bonnie go, and Sabo and Koala, we can just output just a ton of damage. Now going into the final day, I don't know if I'm going to keep the shooter team going that I have here. Now I do like having the Usopp and Lilith on this team better than the waifu there. I think they just guarantee winning a lot more. Now granted, this team is insanely overpowered, so I shouldn't have to really worry too much about winning anyway, but they just make things so much easier. So now that the back bench has come in, we're going to go ahead and use our Kizaru special to just pretty much try to wipe out everyone else. Again, without Luffy and without Boa, there's really nothing they can do from a damage perspective to kind of threaten us. So we'll just clean up Blue Jam and Kuzan here, and it'll be just an easy fight for the first fight of the second battle of day number 3. Again, this is why it's so much better to fight non-burst leaders. Just a quick reminder, you'll see at the end of these videos for the fights for these days, make sure that you set your leaders at the end of the day to a non-burst captain. Just makes it easier. Even better if you can do an auto-edit on your teams. Yes, that means you have to rebuild your teams every day, but it also just gives a more confidence to be able to get to the fight, and you'll see why that's important on the second fight of day number 4, when I fight Stumpd. So just keep that in mind. It's a little teaser that's coming. So yeah. That being said, we're just gonna hit the skip button here. Like, we already destroyed them. There's nothing they can do. So just to save some time there, just hit the skip button. The second fight is gonna be against their shooter team. So nothing kind of too crazy here. Oh, actually, it's not their shooter team. It's the INT team. So yeah, again, they have the Caesar on their side that does the debuffing. They have the Lilith and Usopp there, who can do the special rewind. Kuma hits with a little bit of hits, but he kind of really buffs the Luffy and Bonnie, which is his big thing, and then obviously Sabo and Koala. So kind of a mirror match, mostly of our team from the first fight there. So what we're going to do here is we have that special up our sleeve, so we don't want to let Kuma go, because then obviously he boosts the Luffy and Bonnie, and it just isn't a good time. So we're going to use the Kizaru special right there. That will do some special bind, do some regular bind, and just put us in a really good spot to win here. But when we get Nusjuro to actually go off, he wasn't able to go last time that we were fighting, just because he was knocked out pretty early. But again, really what we're just waiting for here is Helmeppo to do some damage, which is great, gives the shield. Kizaru will do some damage, and then Gobi and Carp will go and do their damage, and then we'll have basically the Kizaru's gauge will be changed again. We'll use it again and pretty easily get through this. So you can see with this team, that's the one thing I really like about this team. This is really easy to just do a ton of damage really quick, get that burst gauge charged, and kind of get in and out really fast. So there we go. We were able to knock out everyone but their last two. At this point, there's really nothing that they can do to beat us. So we're going to get a pretty easy second win for day number 3. We'd like to see that definitely. Again, just wanted to speed this match up just because the first one took so long. Because of the stall that we had to do on that fight number 2. So there we go. Got the second win of day number 3, and let's go into the final match of day number 3. See if we can close it out being 9 out of 9. All right, so for the final match of the day, we're going to go ahead and face Luffy and Bonnie again. I feel bad if I did 2 rare recruit captains in a row. Now, when it gets to the last day, day 4 or day 5, that's completely out the window. You want to get the max rewards, so go after the easiest teams, right? But in this case, because we are okay with losing if we have to, we'll go ahead and fight this Luffy Bonnie captain. We've already fought a couple so far in the first 3 days, so not a huge deal having to fight them again. So against this first match here, we kind of have the INT team versus our shooter team. So this will be interesting to see how this goes. Again, the Boa waifu unit there just does a lot of confusion, which is a pain to deal with. Of course, Kuma does the buffing to Luffy and Bonnie to let them go first, does some damage himself. So really the goal here is to hopefully get some of our guys to go first. That way we can get our Kizaru gauge charged, kick it off, prevent them from doing their specials. The CT speed on this team is what really helps. You can see most of our units are already ready to go, which is kind of crazy. Obviously Caesar already went, and he has his gauge fully charged to begin the fight. So the fact that we're able to get our stuff going pretty quickly is awesome. That HP cut shot just pretty much almost fully charged our gauge, which is awesome. Unfortunately for us, we weren't able to get another special off before we got the Kuma special done to us, so that means we got to take not only a Kuma special, but a Luffy Bonnie special. So this team isn't like the tankiest team, but you can see we were able to keep, most of our HP there are intact, but the damaging part there was we lost a lot of the CT that we had, so we didn't have really anything to do. So I was like, you know what, I'm just throwing this first match. That's fine, don't care. We'll take them on the second half, right, with the 2 good teams in the Navy team, as well as the team with the super overpowered team. So I was like, you know what, we can get through this. We've faced this team many times, right, so we kind of already know what the MO for this team is. Again, we don't have many shooters. I don't think we actually have any shooters. Maybe Kizaru is a shooter. I don't remember. But we have very few shooters on this team, so we're not really going to get as crazily hit from Boa or from the debuff from S-Snake. So it's not kind of too bad. So again, we're going to kind of wait a little bit, let their specials build up, and then basically use our Kizaru special to prevent them from using any of their specials at all. Again, just do a ton of damage with the Kizaru special, which is great. Kind of really helps us out and kind of allows some of our units to go. We're going to do another pretty good shot here, which is awesome. And again, because of the abilities of our team, you can see that basically they just don't really have a chance to go. We're going to get the haste ability here, which is awesome. That just helps us get 3 of our Navy characters up to the front. You can let Helmeppo go to get the switch, which will get a CT reduction further. Of course, you can let the Kobe and Garp go, which just instantly basically charges the gauge. Boom, you can hit them again, and really there's nothing that they can do to come back from that. At that point, it's GG's, and really we can just use the rest of the match to just build our burst gauge for the final battle. So that's kind of what the game strategy was here. Again, there's really nothing they can do to beat us. So for that reason, we're just going to go ahead and pretty quickly and pretty easily beat this and go on to the third match. Again, we have a Kizaru gauge fully charged here, and we have the OP INT team. there's nothing they're going to be able to do to make us pay for any of this. So it should be a pretty quick match. Again, the downfall to this shooter team is that they're not super tanky, so it's pretty easy to get through them, especially if you have the ability to lock down all their specials like we do with the burst gauge from the captain there. It just makes it really easy to kind of get that victory. So again, we're just going to kind of wait a little bit here, really let Kuma go, and then once Kuma goes, it should be pretty easily to get through the rest of the content here. So Kuma will go off in just a second. So the specials are just about charged here. So what we're going to do is use the Kizaru special to be able to just bind them. Again, they'll just give us more time just to let our units charge up, especially the Saibo and Koala, because they just do a huge hit as well. And we still have a burst gauge kind of hanging in our back pocket, so we can go ahead and use that to just do a ton of damage there. So you can see once the Kuma decides to go, if he ever decides to go, he's slacking. So we are using the Luffy Bonnie instead, let them go first. And you can see they just took out everyone, wait for the backbench to come in, use the special here, and be able to kind of get the enemies killed pretty quickly. He actually went off before Caesar could go off a second time, which is fine. If he just happened to go, he'll just do a little bit of damage there. But at this point, it's really just waiting now for the Saibo and Koala to go, and that will let us do the most amount of damage out there. So at this point, you can pretty much just skip. There's really, like I said, nothing that they can do to really beat us. We're just to add insult to injury, we'll have the waifu go there. They'll do a bunch of confusion. But at this point, like I said, it's GG's. There's no way they're going to be able to come back and really do anything to us. Unfortunately, the confusion only hit one of the units, but that damage helped just absolutely kill them. So there we go. We're going to skip the rest of the fight, let it get done a little bit early, get us the first day 3 done here. So that being said, day 3 is done. 9 out of 9, perfect. Let's go ahead and get into the day 4 matches and see if we can go 12 out of 12. Alright, so for the first fight of day number 4, let's see. So I'm not taking on Kizaru. So let's go ahead and take on Nusjuro here. We know he's not like a crazy nuts leader. So we're going to go ahead and go with that. We're going to go ahead with our Navy team up front. It looks like it might be a kind of an interesting team. So it's kind of the anti-shooter team that you have out there with Caesar out there. When I saw him initially, I thought maybe that might be the INT team, but luckily for us, it's not, so that's great. We don't have to worry about kind of dealing with any of the nasty INT team right away. So that being said, let's just kind of get through this pretty quick. It does take a lot to trigger the Nusjuro special, so kind of the game plan here so far when I've been fighting that leader is basically to end the game in 2 fights, right? So have your strongest team start out, or one of your stronger teams start up front, and then swap in your second strongest team in the second slot there. Our first strongest team, just kind of how do you want to do it. Just makes it really easy to kind of get through those. So we are going to take a little bit of a hit here from Caesar, not the end of the world. Luckily, it doesn't rewind our special, so that's good. Unfortunately, we just had a Snake go, so we got the Nusjuro binded, we got the Kobe and Garp binded. Just means that we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to really do stuff. Now, Helmeppo will give us the shield to kind of help us survive, which is good. And then Hibari comes in and does the cooldown reduction to the units that are on the bench. Now, you can see our Kizaru is just about ready to go. So as soon as he's ready to go, there's really no reason for us not to use it. Unfortunately, we get the debuff there from Blackbeard. But still, we'll use Kizaru there. He'll just make sure that everyone else is special-minded, so that way we don't have to kind of worry about a lot of additional hits. We took out Luffy, we took out Boa. There's nothing they can do at this point to really stop us, and that's exactly what we want to be in. We also have the Kobe and Garp special fully charged, so we had like no worries there that we weren't going to be able to get that final hit, as well as get the burst gauge charged. So second team is going to be the shooter team. Again, we're just going to have our INT team go because they're just kind of the OP team there. And we'll go ahead and get through this fight pretty quickly. Again, we'll let their specials get kind of charged. And then we'll go ahead and use Kizaru just to do the special bind. And then kill really quick with everyone else. So as you can see, like I said, we'll wait for Caesar to get his burst gauge charged again. And then we'll kind of be off to the races there. One thing I did notice, you could probably tell if you looking at Caesar when this fight started, when I originally did this comp, I completely forgot to do the condition to satisfy Caesar to make sure that his special is ready to go right at the start of the fight. So you'll see when we get to the second or third fights of the day, we're going to switch up this little team here just to make sure that we can trigger the condition for Caesar to have his special ready to go right at the beginning just to make it a little bit easier. Akuma's going to go. He's going to do an absolute monstrous amount of hits. Haste Luffy Bonnie, which is great. They'll go. It'd be great if I had Emmett on this team. He would just help just destroy those elders much quicker. But you can see, literally at this point, it's literally me versus Smoker. So the goal here, what I thought was the goal here, was to be able to use Kizaru to hopefully just kill Smoker, and then boom, all the forced out people I don't have to worry about. Of course, Smoker just has enough HP to hold on, and it took just long enough. And of course, Luffy and Bonnie misses, so they all come back. Not ideal, not what we wanted to see, but we still have one burst gauge ready to go, and we have Sabo Koala, who'll be going very shortly, who will kind of just give us a ton of hits. But again, would have been nicer just to not have to deal with all of this, and just have it kind of end right there. We also have the waifu ready to cast Confusion. We have, of course, Caesar ready to go with his damage over time, which is good. So yeah, I mean, no danger of us losing. It's just more of an annoyance of just having to wait for this to go through. So once Boa goes and casts that Confusion, does some damage, we should have enough to be able to launch our final Kizaru special and hopefully get through this match pretty quick. Get the first win for day number 4 and get us one step closer to going 12 out of 12. So you can see here, gonna go ahead and use Kizaru special here. He's gonna end up just force binding and action binding a lot of people. And unfortunately now we're just kind of waiting at this point for Luffy Bonnie to go, just so that we kind of are in the zone and ready to go. They're going to go right here, and that will be enough to basically force out everyone else who could be a threat to us. Perfect. And give us that victory for the first fight. So not the quickest fight, but again, we were able to go ahead and quickly get through that and be able to put us in a good spot and get us the 10th win of the day. So let's go ahead and get into fight number 2 for day number 4 and see how we can do. For the second fight of the day, we are fighting the one, the only Stump. So let's go ahead and face Stump's team now. Luckily for us, Stump was a homie there. He did the community strategy, changed his leader to a non-burst captain, which is awesome. The unfortunate part of this is that while the leader was changed, he probably did do the auto edit for the teams. So that means that unfortunately I'm facing his fully boosted teams, and he's just, especially this int team, is something else. Like, everyone's fully maxed, fully rumble rainbowed, keyed. It's just it's a crazy team, absolutely disgusting. Like, there's no way that I would be able to beat them, even if I didn't have the burst advantage there. It would be really tough for me to beat this team with my int team. So full shout out to the homie for changing his leader, so at least we had a chance there. So first fight, there's no way I'm going to be able to win. So again, I threw just my weakest team there, knowing that I'll basically have 2 bursts for both the second and the third fight. We'll have our strongest int team out there who will just help us make sure that we get the victory. And kind of that's how we're going to play it, just because that's probably the easiest way to go. So we should pretty much all die here from this Luffy shot. Yep, there we go. We lost our main damage dealers there, so there's really nothing else we can do. Just letting go right there so we get the 30% HP cut, get our burst gauge filled, and at this point just skip it, because there's no way that we're going to be able to beat this team with our current team, burst captain or not. It's just an insane team. Shout out to Stump for having such a crazy int team. So for fight number 2 and 3, of course I don't know what the teams are. I have a feeling that he has a Navy team in slot 3, just based on the captain. It looks like slot 2 is going to be kind of like a lot of driven units, it looks like there. So luckily for us, like I said, we don't have a problem fighting driven with the Navy units. It's just a matter of making sure that we can kind of stop them from doing their specials. We have the special burst ready to go, so we're going to go ahead and use that when they get a little bit closer to having their specials go. Pika on the back bench, you have to worry a little bit about. He can give just a bunch of defense to the team. Of course, Saturn is a bit of a pain to deal with. I made the mistake here of not having his special go before Snake was able to get hers off. So unfortunately, I got Nusjuro to get binded, and he wasn't going to be able to do anything. So that was and Kobe and Garp as well. So again, that was just a stupid mistake on my part, but still wasn't worried. I knew that the fact that we were able to stop them after doing that we had a good 10-15 seconds where they wouldn't be able to get their specials off. I get Helmeppo to get his shield up there, do some damage, swap out, get the cooldown reduction from Hibari coming in, and just be in a really great spot. Again, we have the death hit of Kizaru, worst case. That basically will instantly charge the gauge. We are having Kobe and Garp go here. They didn't have their super special fully ready, but you can see just the amount of damage it did was pretty crazy. So at this point, there's no reason not to use the special because I know this team is super bulky. So yeah, we might knock out 1 or 2 units, but we'll still have a ton out there, which will basically allow us to get our special gauge charged for the 3rd and final fight. And again, we have our INT team going in that slot. They're just absolutely insane with the amount of damage that they can do, so it just kind of made sense to go ahead and do it that way. So luckily this time our Nusjuro is actually going to be able to go, gives the HP cut, just gives a bunch of damage, and basically gets us in a part where we're good at that point. We can just go ahead and skip, we know we're going to win, nothing kind of too crazy. So again, it comes down to this final match now. INT team versus INT team, INT team versus Navy team here. And there's just no way without a burst that he's going to be able to beat me with this. So really fun to fight Stumpd because it's just his teams are insane with the amount of investments he has in them. So it's really cool to be able to fight them. So shout out to the homie for changing your leader. Really appreciate that, helping get the community strat to get the most wins. And yeah, let's go. And as I mentioned before in the previous fight that we were doing there, I did change the team comp of this team a little bit, so Caesar would have his special ready to go in the fight. So I have, of course, Esol, Kuzan, Jibe in the back bench, just kind of ready to go. Go ahead and use one of these specials right here. That will go ahead and basically, hopefully, wipe out at least one unit. It looks like we killed Yamato, which is great. We'll take a little bit of a death hit here, which is kind of whatever, but it's nothing that's going to really stop us from doing too much. Now, unfortunately, we did lose Kuma there. That was kind of probably the one downside. He's not super necessary. I mean, he does help get the Luffy and Bonnie special ready to go. And unfortunately, you can see what happened is the swap-in happened with the Bari, and we kind of lost some of the CT that we had there. But still, we're still feeling like we're in a really good position here. Kuzan can do a bunch of damage, which is good. Luffy and Bonnie, Sabo, and Koala can do damage, and even the waifus can do damage just to kind of trigger that special. So, boom. Luffy and Bonnie would go, just do an absolute crap ton of damage, and then put us in a spot where once the backbench comes in, boom, we just use a special, everyone gets special bind, takes a ton of damage, and at that point it's GG's, which is kind of awesome. So, crazy bunch of fights here fighting Stump and his teams. It's just, you know, fighting the best of the best out here sometimes on the PvP side. So we're taking the death hit from Garp here. Luckily, it didn't actually take out anyone, which is kind of surprising. I thought it actually would do a little bit more damage than it did do. But you can see at this point, there's nothing they can do to win. We'll just go ahead and kill him. We'll take the death hit from Kizaru there. But actually, no, because he was confused. He didn't even get his death hit off. So great way to do the second fight of the day. Again, shout out to Stump for following the community strat. Always love to face his team. So with that being said, let's get into the final match of day number 4. See if we can end 12 out of 12 and keep the perfect streak going. All right, so let's get into that final match of day 4. And we're going to take it easy. We're not going to even bother facing any kind of crazy burst leaders, because when it gets to these days, you want to make sure you get as many wins as you can and not have to worry about facing that. So against the side team that's going up front, again, I was like, we can just throw our shooter team on there, no biggie at all. It should be pretty easy to get through these. We do have to worry about, obviously, the death hit from Garp. That's a pain to deal with. The multiple revives from the Luffy, Zoro, Sanji are a pain to deal with. The special reverse from the Nami is a pain to deal with. But I was like, okay, with this team, like, we can go so fast thanks to the level limit break of the Usopp and Lilith, and the Sidere speed that she has. Like, she can just get her special off really quick, give that huge HP cut, and just put us in just an absolutely fantastic spot. Usopp and Lilith were able to go first, so obviously I just kind of minimized the chance of Nami going first, which is perfect. And at that point, it's really just waiting. We're going to have Mars go here, just do a good chunk of damage. Actually, Mars is going to wait, but you can see he's ready to go. Actually, that knockback was actually pretty good, just because it kind of grouped everyone together. And boom, now we have Kizaru special ready to go. We'll just go ahead and use it. Again, what we're going to do here is once we win that first battle, we're just going to throw our best team in the second slot. That way we can kind of end these fights really quick. We're going to take the death hit here from Garp. Nothing kind of too crazy. Though he does a good chunk of damage because his team isn't super bulky. So that's kind of the one downside there. Luffy and Lucci are going to go in just a second, and that should just help us pretty much wipe out almost everyone else. Boom, there we go. Triggered the revive of the Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and again, we're just saying, nope, we're not going to allow anyone to actually get any specials off, and just puts us in a really good spot. So at that point, we can just skip. There's nothing they can do, and basically, we're just charging our burst gauge for fight number 2. Here, we're going to have the INT team go again. There's going to be nothing. Actually, I thought we were going to have the INT team go, and apparently, I wasn't thinking, and was just like, you know what, I'll just have the Navy team go. Which is fine. Basically, shooter versus Navy would have been just as good if we had... actually, sorry, it's not a shooter team, it's a strength team. So yeah, even less of a worry there. Obviously, if they're able to get their cooldown, that's a bit of a problem, but we have a lot of units on here who will boost the cooldown of our own units. We have the swap that can happen that can basically reduce the cooldown as well with the Helmeppo and the Hibari, so just put us in a really good spot. We have the CT reduction here, which will give us a nice 20% boost, and just put us in a really good spot to be able to do a bunch of damage. I'll use this Kizaru special now, so that way it will get basically almost recharged when Kizaru, Helmeppo, and Garp and Kobe go. It'll just put us in a really good spot there to secure the victory. So let's go ahead and do a shot there. Unfortunately, that was not the best person to hit in terms of getting the most damage. That's fine. Nusjuro's going to come in, and at this point, it's GG. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the Kizaru leader burst ability there and just wipe out pretty much everyone else's units here. And the backbench is just not scary at all on this team. Again, King can hit through defense, but because it's just really them, it should be pretty easy to kill them. We have the Garp and Kobe who have a super special ready to go. And at that point, like, it's all over. And to add insult to injury, when Hibari comes in, she'll reduce the special CT of those units as well. So just making it just even better to let us kind of get make sure we can get Garp and Kobe to go and kill everyone. So that is pretty much gonna seal the deal for the final fight of day number 4. I hope you guys enjoyed both the fights for days 3 and 4. It was always fun to go through here. Last day is always really RNG, so we'll just really employ the community strategy. So in case you don't know what that is, when you are done for the day, hit the setup button in the bottom right corner there, click the auto edit on your team, and just make sure you choose a leader who is who can be a level 1 captain there, right? So you can see here I am just kind of slowing down here, picking just a random Rayleigh and Gabon. And it also auto edits the whole team, so it makes it a little bit easier as well for people facing them, so you don't have to face fully decked out teams, even though you might have to face a burst leader. It just makes it a little bit easier for people who are trying to get it, who don't have maybe the latest and greatest teams there. So that's going to wrap it up for this fights for these days. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know how your grand party's going so far. Do you like the season? Do you like the rule set? I imagine the last day it's going to be a lot of Kizaru, so if you have any opinions on that or best ways to beat Kizaru leaders, be sure to leave them in the comments below. As always, until next time, be kind to each other. Thanks.